Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today I'm going to be making my series preview and predictions for the Houston Rockets Golden State Warriors matchup in the first round. It's going to be a great series between these two teams. I think it's going to be the best series of the entire first round. You've got a great series you've seen already in game one with the Clippers and Nuggets. I think it's going to be a great series. There are a couple other really good series I think we will see in the first round, but I think this one right here will be the best with the Warriors and the Rockets. It's going to be a fun one. And as a Rockets fan, I'm excited, and I think this is going to be a great series for the Rockets, but I know it's also at the same time, it is a very hard test, and it's something the Rockets will have a very hard challenge in their first playoff series. But the fact is, a lot of people say this Rockets team doesn't have any playoff experience. Fred VanVleet, NBA champion. Dylan Brooks, mini playoff series in his career. Steven Adams, most of his career, he has played in the playoffs. There's not much basketball Steven Adams has not played. There's not much basketball Steven Adams has played in his career where he's not in the playoffs. Where he's been with OKC for was with OKC for so long, and was with Memphis, and I don't think there's been a lot of basketball where Steven Adams is playing where he's not, Steven Adams' team is not in the playoffs. And so and then Jeff Green, I know he's not going to play much in the series. You could see a little bit of playing time. He's an NBA champion, and when you got an NBA champion, even if he's not playing on the floor, but is around the younger guys, that definitely can. When you got champions on around you, that makes you more experienced. And then also the fact that you've got Ime Udoka, a coach that took the Boston Celtics into the NBA Finals in his first year as a head coach. That Celtics team at the time was really starting to fall apart because they just had a season where they were like the sixth seed or something the year before, and lost in the first round of the Brooklyn Nets, and Boston decides to make this huge change, having Brad Stevens switch from head coach to being in the front office, and then you go with this new head coach, and Ime Udoka turns the team around and takes them to the NBA Finals. So in his first year of head coach, as a head coach. So you got Ime Udoka as your head coach. Yes, there are young guys on this team that do not have playoff experience, but there are guys on this team that will be playing in this series that do have experience. And then the guy that matters, most of all, not going to be on the court playing, but Ime Udoka as well has experience in these playoffs. So that is another thing. But I'm really excited. And look, honestly, yes, you've got there are guys on this team like Steph and Jimmy and Draymond, who have experience in the playoffs, but and I guess you can there are not a lot of other guys on this Warriors team that have experience. You can look at a guy that is in their starting lineup. Podziemski has never played in a playoff game. Last year was in the play and the Warriors lost in the play-in. When you go over the rest of the team that will be playing, I mean, you can look at Jonathan Kuminga, who was a part of that finals run. I don't think he's going to be in the rotation. He isn't, Steve Kerr has cut him out of the rotation in their last two games. Moses Moody has been with this Warriors team for a long time, but during the Warriors playoff runs over the last couple years, he's not been in the rotation. Gary Payton is a guy who has a lot of, playoff experience, so add him to the list with Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph. Quentin Post is a rookie. Buddy Hield, I guess you could add Buddy Hield to that list as well. But outside of that, the Warriors, yes, they do have a lot of playoff experience with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, and Steve Kerr at the head coach position, but there's not a lot of experience after that. Because the Warriors do have a couple players that will be in the rotation that have not played a lot in the playoffs. And I'm talking about guys like Kuminga and Moody, Podziemski, Post. Those type of guys. They've got young guys as well that are on the rotation that are really good players. I really do think there's some really good players, but as inexperienced as some of the Rockets young guys are as well. And those are young guys for the Golden State Warriors team that they really need to step up. Those are all really good young players for this Warriors team. Two of them are starters. So let's get into predictions for this series. as a Rockets fan, something I will say is I'm really afraid of playoff Jimmy Butler. I think that's the scariest thing about this series. Even though I've seen Steph kill us in the playoffs so many times, this is a different, Rockets defensive team. This defensive team has been much better this year. The Rockets have neutralized Steph. He's only averaging 18.5 points per game against this Rockets team this year. And then Thompson has done a really good job defending him this year. He and the Rockets have, had an amazing strategy of double teaming stuff. But Jimmy Butler, it's playoffs. Jimmy Butler is a different person when the playoffs happen. And it's like Jimmy says, okay, you take, it's like regular season Jimmy says to playoff Jimmy, all right, I'm checking out. I'm going on vacation for a couple of months. It's your turn to step up, playoff Jimmy. And then he turns into this completely different player. And we saw it in the first game against the Grizzlies in the play-in. Unbelievable. 38 points. He almost had 40 points. And I know, he had a lot of free throws made as well. But, it's still, he is amazing around this time of year. And he is so much better this time around where, compared to in the regular season. And when I say I'm more scared of Jimmy Butler than Stephen Curry, it's not a knock on Steph. It's because Steph is amazing. But it's more of a compliment to Jimmy Butler. That's what it is, and so I'm scared of what Jimmy Butler can do in this series. And then another guy I would have fears about is Brandon Podziemski, because here's another thing. And I know I said he's a young guy who doesn't have a lot of experience. It doesn't change the fact he's a good player, and if the Rockets continue to bring this double team with Steph, which I have no problem with, Podziemski is going to find himself open shots potentially. Someone's going to be open on the floor if Curry's getting double teamed. The two guys you don't want that to be is Podziemski open for a three, or Jimmy Butler open to the rim or open on a mid range shot. But Podziemski might get open looks. Butler might get open looks. That's not what you want to happen. You want to neutralize Steph, but you do not want those two guys to get open looks. And I do fear that those two guys can have a really successful series if the Rockets continue to do what they've been doing with Steph all season with the double teams, or at least what they did last game. So yeah, I'm really excited for this series. Predictions, I'm going to do game-by-game predictions. I got the Rockets winning Game 1 tonight. Game 2, I got the Warriors winning Game 2. Game 3, I'm going with the Warriors winning back-to-back games and the Rockets being down 2-1. I have the Rockets winning Game 4, Rockets winning Game 5, up 3-2. Back in Golden State, Rockets trying to close the series out. I'm sorry, this is a young Rockets team. I know, I've said many times I believe in them, but a Game 6 elimination game against Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, that's a hard one to get in San Francisco. If it was in Houston, I would say, okay, Rockets get it done, but it's not. I got it going to Game 7, but here's the good thing, be back in Houston. So Game 7 in Houston, I'm going with the Rockets winning this series in 7. I will say, another thing that does fear me is the Rockets, struggles with three-point shooting. If the Warriors have, a hot night, that is what can kill the Rockets and potentially, and give them losses in this series, as if the Warriors dominate them with, their three-point shooting. And that's something that does fear me, because this Rockets team does have a problem with their three-point shooting. So I think that has to be the biggest key to this series for the Rockets, is shooting well from three. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out. Go Rockets.